Okay. First of all, why do you think he would want to be so secretive about what he's looking for with all of these people? If I'm just off the top of my head, I'm thinking if the cell pings for all of these people were so important, I would imagine, they would already be in the records that he's been provided. But if they're not, what could he possibly be looking for that he wants to keep a secret that would be so important if it hasn't already been looked into at this point?
Well, the advantage of talking to witnesses or getting records without including the state is that if you find something that the state is not aware of that benefits the state, hopefully the state never becomes aware of it. If you find something that's beneficial and will advance the defense, perhaps then you can sandbag the state and the state doesn't know in what direction you're heading. At this juncture, it looks like we're casting a lot of stones into the ocean and hope that one of them hits a fish. And if he hits the fish, then he'll have something. But at this juncture, I doubt that there's a specific purpose for the issuance of these subpoenas other than gathering as much information and see if there's something in there that can be used.
Mr. Kronk has filed an objection to this, saying it's too broad, it's an invasion of his privacy, there's no time frame, there's no narrow focus as far as we want to see if you're talking to this person, or this person. It's just sort of, as you put it, a shotgun approach. Was that a mistake, asking for these records in the way they were asked for now? Because now I think probably all these attorneys are going to start coming forward, filing these same sorts of objections, and it's going to there's going to be hearings and...
Well, it's certainly unwelcome detention. But the normal...
Wait, what do you mean by that?
Well, you now have lawyers for these various witnesses interposing objections to the production of these records. If, in fact, there's a hearing on this, that will force Baez to tell the court what relevance that these phone records may have to the defense. He has, in fact, defeated the very thing that he set out to do, which was try to conceal where he's going with this. The normal course of issuing subpoena ducis tecum is you issue the subpoena ducis tecum to the provider. The provider then notifies the person that their phone records have been sought. That person then has the right to interpose an objection. You don't ask the court for permission to issue subpoena ducis tecum. You don't have to. By the rules that regulate the issuance of subpoenas, the attorney has the right to issue a subpoena and has the right to issue a subpoena ducis tecum, which means to produce an item. It's a fancy word, to produce an item, without the court's permission. And I'm mystified as to why we have this added step of asking the court's permission to do something you have permission to do to begin with under the rules of procedure.
And then how do you, I'm looking at this saying, how in the world is he going to find out, I guess by what he's done so far, which phone providers all these people have? Like how...
You issue a subpoena to the witness whose records you want, and you say to them, not real complicated, all right, doesn't take a 20-year or 30-year lawyer to know that you subpoena the witness and you say, Mr. Witness, who is your phone provider? Oh, it's X. Then you go and issue the subpoena to X.
Do you do that during a deposition? Or when
you ask the witness, who's your phone provider?
No, I understand that, but I mean, do you
No.
Have that conversation just based on a subpoena for their phone records, or do you depose them and as one of your questions you ask? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you take their deposition, and if you are clever, one of the questions you ask during the course of the deposition is, oh, by the way, who's your cell phone provider? Or who's your telephone provider? And then you ask a whole bunch of other questions, and hopefully that question gets buried in all the other questions. Nobody realizes the significance of it, and the next thing you know, I've hit the provider with a subpoena ducis tecum for the records.